Yes, I'm using a fork. Look at the way it's bringing up that color. In today's video, we are at Sydney Drag Race. That was nuts. Well, today's vlog is gonna have to be old school. It's gonna have to be filmed like how we used to do it, just on our phone, because annoyingly, I brought all the cameras and didn't put any SD cards in any of them. So, in today's video, we are going to be repainting this quarter. The last time you saw this, it was in primer, about to get done. And if there's one thing that you can see straight away, our colors don't match. So I think we were literally just asking a little too much of cans. We couldn't quite get the coverage. It flared up a little bit just here. So yeah, it's mad, like you can hear that. The rear quarter didn't turn out too bad, especially for cans. That turned out pretty spicy. A couple dry spots, but we could have cut that back and done it. But the biggest thing is that color difference right there. So we've gone and done this properly now. I've gone and bought a DeVilbiss FLG5, which is a killer all-rounder gun, especially for a, I don't know, garage at home kind of guy to use. So we've got this set up, we've got the paint, we've got some more supplies. We're gonna paint this properly. I'm gonna blend it into the door, I'm gonna blend it into the pillar, and then we'll have to re-clear the pillar and the door. But I'm gonna do this properly this time, and we're gonna actually try and get it so that it's looking proper. So what that means is I'm gonna have to sand all of this back off, which isn't too hard, and prep it up again. Good thing is the cars are all still wrapped up. Got to wrap up all the crap up here. But yeah, hopefully we can get this properly into some paint today. And yeah, this is gonna be my first time really using a real setup, but I've watched a billion videos on YouTube, so that makes me a professional. I'm kidding, I'm not a professional, but I'm gonna give this one hell of a go, and I'm pretty confident and really excited. So I've always wanted to learn how to paint properly with a HVLP gun and everything, so what a better time to start. So let's start sanding, I guess. All right, so it's been some time. I've sanded back and prepped the doors. You can still see I've only just taken the top layer off this, and you can see how much orange peel there was in it, so we should hopefully take a lot of that off. So the idea is pretty much paint, and then from here, flick, so that you get a bit of a blend. Now, I don't have like a clear base coat or blending or whatever you want to call it, so I can't wet this section. So it will be a bit dry just here. So you're still gonna see the blend, but it's gonna be a lot better, and it's gonna make it so that it actually matches a bit more. And then up here too, it's good because the panel thins just here. So I'll flick up there. Once I've flicked up there, we'll re-clear coat the entire one up there. Again, plenty of orange peel on the top here that we've like leveled out a bit, so it should really benefit and look really good. I'm interested to see how this area comes out just here, because there was like a really thick step down from how much paint we'd put on where that hard line was. So it's going to be interesting to see how that comes out. But yeah, it's pretty much now time to plastic sheet the car, finish taping it off, give it another real good water-based clean. Man, I guess it's ready to start freaking rocking and rolling and see how we go. Now, I mean, every time we're trying this, the ante is stepping up more and more. We started off with just this. Now we got this and like the pillar up here. So sooner or later, the whole car is going to be absolutely screwed up and shitty, or it's going to look sick again. So I don't know. Here's the one to the other. Let's give it a go. Let's see how we go. Now, I didn't show you sanding it because, I mean, who the hell wants to see sanding? But I've already gone around and taped the edges. I might use some of the footage from the last video just to show you kind of like what I was doing.
All right, on to coat number 3.
Hopefully this is where it starts to look pretty good. I feel like up here I understand. it wasn't quite a success. Now the paint itself has come out kind of as good as you're gonna really get from a rattle can. As you can see around like here, really has kind of flared up a little bit. But the awesome thing about it being 2-pack clear is we can rub it back and like just polish, like cut and polish it and all that. But as you can see on camera, the colors don't match. So not only did we use all of the product that we had, but I also think we ran into the issue where we simply could not get enough, like with the lack of airflow and everything, you just couldn't get enough color onto the panel. And if you're not careful with this, like if you put it on too wet and too heavy, the black in the color just buries the flake and you get no color really. So you can see just here, we thought there was gonna be only just like a decent kind of thing we'd have to blend, but no, it's like, you still get really good red down here, but then compared to that, it's a completely different color. So I decided to leave the stinker in here as well, because this area just here gives me plenty of room to paint. I'll set up both fans right there. Last time I had that one there and then the pool fan at the front, and that fan there was too much for when I was at the back of the car. So it was drying the paint before I could get it on there. So back here was really dry. So instead I'll just make it so that we've got mad sucking force, like a 50, you know, that's a dirty joke, I'm not gonna make that one. But yeah, I'm gonna set it up so it's just got a mad sucking or pulling force coming from it. And hopefully that'll have us on the money. All right, let's get into it. Alrighty, so I've got my push-pull setup working quite well. You can really feel, even standing back here, you can feel it sucking it out, so that's really good. I've gone over with, there was like this much isopropyl alcohol left, so I mixed it with water, just so that you've got a water-based alcohol / cleaner, just to really make sure it's got the last of the crap off there. But pretty much, we're ready to go, I think. But I guess we'll just have to dive into it. I didn't buy a freaking gun stand, so how well has this worked out? It just sits in there perfectly. So now we've got some paint to mix. The base coat is at a 1-to-1 ratio. So I've got my cups just here. I've also got tack rag, so I'll go over it and give it a tack rag before we start. We'll mix some paint. I don't really have any stands or anything for this, so I can't put it up anywhere to show as I'm going, which is really annoying. But I'll try my best. I'm the only one here at the moment, so we got to do what we can. All right, let's get into it, I guess. All right, I got first bit of base coat in. Let's just tack rag the surface. Pretty good, not too bad. Alright, I'm going to lay down the first base coat. I'll come back in once I'm done because I want to focus on getting the paint on the car, then trying to film it. Alright, so I'll be back. Alright, first coat's on, semi-wet, let it flash off. Coverage is so much better. Man, it's so good using this kind of gun. So you can see I got a little bit wet just there, probably a little bit too much. So I'll try and bring it a bit, like feather it up a little bit more. But yeah, coming along here, you can see where I've just started to push it into that front door. I'll probably push it a bit further halfway across. Then after I get that second coat, I'm gonna give it a very quick 800 sand, give it a third coat, dust it, should be good to go. All right, I'm gonna give this 15 minutes to flash, and then we'll go. All right, time for the second coat. I'm gonna go a bit wetter, a bit slower. Sucks that I can't film it. I can try and set the camera up some. I'll give it a go. Try and set the camera up.
There's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me. Everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. all me. Everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what? Told ya I'ma do me. Why you hating on me? It's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck. Country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold-hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month. I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up. Only buying car.
Oh, all right. So what just happened there was an absolute shit show. For some reason, the compressor keeps turning off, which is really, really fucking annoying. And you can't, when you're in the swing of it, you just expect it to work, so you're not paying attention. And I just noticed that the gun was not putting paint down properly. And as it was losing pressure, it was just pushing too much fluid. So it's now given us this like run and shit spot just here. But it's all right because after this coat, we were gonna let it flash. And then I was gonna wet, like I was gonna 800 the whole thing, then do another coat, then a dust coat. So 800 all of it. Hopefully that doesn't give us, I might just sand through that once, like give it 20 minutes to dry, sand it, and then try and go again, see how it goes, like see how it turns out. But that is so frustrating. So if you see in that clip, I literally ran out because not only have I now ruined it here, but I've got a wet edge that is drying, and we've got to figure out why the compressor keeps turning off. Oh, there's always something that ruins it. Oh well, you can see that my blend edge nicely fanning through there. Blend edge, it's a bit wet here, but yeah, I blended it up here a little bit. I still really have no idea what I'm doing, so we'll just have to see how it goes once the clear goes on. But yeah, I'll give this now another 15 minutes, 20 minutes, if not longer. Give it a nice little sand, and I'll tack rag it, do another coat. Alrighty, so we are 3 coats in. It's looking pretty good. I've got like, here is a little bit more wet than here, but I don't want to just go stacking paint for the sake of it, because I feel like that's just asking for more issues and more color matching problems. I'm going to do my dusting coat for color. And then it's time to clear, which makes me nervous, but I'm also very excited for it because clear is where all the fun comes. So we're pretty much going to start with the first coat, medium wet coat, just get the paint on the car. That's going to act as the glue. So once that then tacks up, we'll give that 15 minutes. And then we'll come in with a nice wet coat and with a 77 crossover pattern or 70% crossover pattern between each pass, I guess you'd say. And yeah. And we get to see how she freaking goes. But man, I'm having so much fun. I freaking love painting. I know I look weird without my glasses, but there's no point putting them on just to take them off to put the respirator back on. If this turns out good, and if this turns out passable, I'm going to start painting this thing all the freaking time. It is so fun. Maybe I'll invest in one of those, like the inflatable spray booths, because legit, half the time I've spent while painting the wagon has been making sure that everything else is ready to go. So it's such a fun process, and it is so good. It does suck because just like they say, it's like 90% prep, 10% paint. And I'm still having issues with the paint even after the prep. So may not come out amazing, but God, I'm excited to see it. All right, cut back in when we're ready to clear, or when I'm dusting, either one or the other. Alrighty, so done the mist coat, which went on looking pretty good. Now we're on to the clear. So we've got the technical data sheet just here, as you can see just there. So if you look at these 3 numbers, just use them as a reference, 100 to 50 to roughly 20. So that's 2 to 1 with 20%. So the good thing is, inside of this cup, you've got your 2 to 1. So once we'll fill this cup 2 to 1. Then our ratio, we've got 10, 20, and 30% on these 3 markers here. So we'll probably fill down to one of these bottom ones, or even use a smaller cup, because I found that this one big smaller cup was a perfect size for a hopper in the gun. So we'll mix 2 to 1 with 20%, enough to fill the gun, and then we'll go from there. So I'm just going to give this a couple more minutes for the benefit of the doubt to tack rag it off. Make sure that it's not grippy, because one thing was when I was doing the base coat with the cans, it was so grippy you could not touch it or wipe it over, because it would have just destroyed it. It would have turned it to shit. It would have pulled the rag apart and left fibers all through it. So you obviously don't want to have that in your base, because not only do you have to try and bury it with your clear, but it's just not going to turn out good. So I've got my box over here for where I'm testing spray patterns. You can see that this one, it's pretty good. It's pretty damn good with the way it is. I'm keen to see how it is with the clear. I bumped up the PSI a tiny bit. So, I mean, all we can really do is send it. See how it's going to go. So I'll give this 5 more minutes, tack rag it, and I'll start mixing some paint.
That's nice, huh? Rack it up, I got a bit of the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees and she bring it.
Yes, I'm using a fork. Yes, it's a clean fork. I mixed with this side's the clear. Just so we're on the right page. Alrighty, I think we're good to go. I'm gonna set this up for a time lapse and let's go.
Stay calm, yeah. Tell them all to move on, yeah. Fucking my post, say now. They be lost in the sauce, yeah. Took a loss, that's your loss, yeah. Had to get my point across, yeah. Heard them lanes was talking now, and we don't pay that no mind. Didn't need to wash and all that, I'll be here in no time. Put a candle on it.
So we've just laid the second coat of clear and it is going on incredibly. Take a look at this. Look at this. Like, of course there's going to be dust in it and everything because garage, but like, look at the way it's bringing up that color. Like, I almost won't even need to cut and buff this. There's a lot of dust and shit in it, but hey, that's what you get when you paint inside of a garage. But look at that. I just noticed one thing. The plastic wrapping from here had dropped down into the paint just there. You win some, you lose some, I guess. All right, I'm going to do one more coat of clear just for good luck. Give us extra to cut down if we really need to. Plus, this is really fun. I'm trying not to go over the top and get myself in too deep and then obviously get a run and ruin everything I've done. But if we come up and touch the tape, still, if it's stringy when you touch it, it's not ready for the next coat. If it's just sticky, then you're good. So there's legit 5 minutes left in it. I'll mix up some paint. We'll get into it. Just look at the reflection of me in that. Insane. It's weird, in this light, it makes the paint look hazy. Like see if my finger gets closer to the light, like when it changes, it looks really hazy on camera, but man, in person, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Now that I've said it's perfect, let's try and not ruin it. All right. One more coat, then we'll unmask. Alrighty, so it is slowly getting darker, so my phone camera is going to be worse and worse. But, man, what a success. I can't believe how well this turned out. Like, look at that reflection. And because there's a slow hardener in this, once all the solvents slowly come out of it, it should hopefully flatten out a tiny, tiny bit more. Oh, it's going to look so good. Now the blend looked like it worked perfectly, but it's still like, yeah, you can see that just here, along just here, it just gets darker as it comes down here. So that's the reason we blend. I'm pretty sure it happens throughout the door as well. It's really nice and gradual. I mean, at least it looks like it with a light. You don't know until you see it in the sun, but it looks like it's going to be pretty good. Hopefully it doesn't stand out too much and it looks freaking juicy. But yeah, I'm gonna let the solvents and everything come out of it a bit more, and then I'll just pull all the tape away from the edges. I'm gonna call it a night and go home, because instead of moving everything in here and potentially lifting dust and putting it all through the paint, I'm literally just gonna peel the edges away, stick it to the middle. I'll probably peel this center one off completely, but yeah, I'll just peel off the edges away from it, tape them away, so we're not gonna get any dust or anything in it, and then I'm just gonna leave it for the night. Actually, I might try and get these little bad boys out now. Actually, they're very sticky, so I'm gonna let them dry, otherwise I'm literally just gonna put shit all over my hands. But man, what a success so far. I guess we won't see how much of a success until we see it out in the sun, but man, for my first paint job with an actual gun, I'm so happy with it. So happy. All right, we're gonna call it a night here. Don't want to get any dust or any shit in it. I can see, yeah, just up here, somehow we've got an overspray. All right, it's not too bad. It just means I got to cut and buff some of the panels to make them shiny and mint again. I have no idea how overspray would have gotten under there, but oh well, it is what it is. All right, so we'll leave this overnight to properly dry and harden up. Oh, I'm so excited. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna go home for the night. See you tomorrow. Alrighty, so it is now the next day. Things have had overnight to dry and harden up a little bit. So actually, if you come up and touch it, I'm sure if you pushed on it, you could probably still leave a fingerprint, but it's all looking pretty good. Little bit dry up here by the looks of it. Looking pretty good though. You can see where there was some dust in the base coat or something just there. We'll still buff it all down probably. Well, it'll need a buff. A bloody random dent just there that I have no idea where that came from, just here. You couldn't see it until there was bloody paint on the car. A bit more bits of little dust and crap up here. But you win some, you lose some. Now, you're supposed to wait 7 days before you cut and buff on this. So I don't know if we're gonna be able to do it before Powercruise unless we do it Friday night and just fingers crossed hope for the best. But so far, the weather is looking freaking shocking anyways for Powercruise. So we'll just have to see how it goes and play it by ear.